Hi, I'm Carol Alt, and today we are in lovely downtown New York City. I was totally not interested in fashion as a child. I was a tomboy. I was more interested in passing the football and getting on the hockey team and playing left wing on the lacrosse team. No, I was totally not at all into fashion. And in fact, because I was so tall and grew so quickly all the time, I was growing out of everything, so I never became attached to anything that was fashion-wise at all. My mother was a showroom model. I would say that she was the model that you see in the black and white films when they walk around inside the showroom and they show the clothing to prospective clients. That's the kind of modeling that she did. But ultimately, she was 18 or 19 and going to college, so that was her primary focus, was going to college. My mother said to me when she first had any kind of inkling that I was even thinking of doing this as a summer job to get off of Long Island, the first thing she said to me is, "You will never do this. It's lunchtime standing." You know what? That's the least of the things that happen when you're modeling, is that you have your lunchtime standing, if we get a lunchtime. So she would in no way, even though she was a model herself, she in no way could prepare me for what the modeling industry was and what it became after us girls in the 80s got through with it. I was actually in the Army. I was an Army ROTC. I was going to Hofstra to study law, and I was working in a little steakhouse in Albertson, Long Island. It was called Steer Barn. And a photographer came in while I was waitressing, and I had just gotten the job, which was a very hard job to get because basically it was a catch-22. Nobody wanted to hire you if you didn't have experience, but how did you get experience if nobody wanted to hire you? And by the time I got this job, I was ecstatic because somebody was taking a chance on me. And then this photographer walked in and said, "Oh, you know, you should be a model." And so many people had said that to me simply because I was 5'10". And I said, you know, I've got my whole life planned out. My boyfriend was going to West Point. He's going to be the youngest ever president. I'm going to be his first lady. I'm going to study law. I'm going to be the first female JAG. I was waiting for my scholarship in the Army, through the Army ROTC program. And life had other plans for me. This photographer gave me his number, said, you know, if you ever change your mind, actually don't call me, call Wilhelmina. So he gave me the telephone number for Wilhelmina. What happened was my boyfriend broke up with me, literally 3 weeks later, 2 weeks later. I had to fish that telephone number out of my apron because it had gone through the wash twice. It was surprising there was still a number there. I called the woman that this guy had given me the telephone number for, and she was on vacation. So I basically went scrounging around I called a friend of mine who I knew was a photographer. He might know some names or some agencies. And basically I went into, actually it was Ford he gave me the number for. So I went into Wilhelmina, and then I went into Elite. And the reason we chose Elite was because my father said to me, Wilhelmina wanted 20% of all my earnings. Well, I had a job as a waitress, and I wasn't going to give up my waitress tips 20% to Wilhelmina because I was on their roster. So my father said, you can't sign this contract. I walked into Elite, and basically John Casablanca said, a handshake deal is good enough for me. And basically, I've spent my entire career on a handshake deal. My word is as good as my bond, and my bond is as good as my word. So I have always worked with all my people with just a handshake deal off of that one handshake deal from John. And I've had no complaints yet. I take care of my people. John Casablancas was a very unique character. You could call him a bit of a maverick. He came into the modeling industry at a time when Ford was dominating, and maybe Wilhelmina and Zoli were kind of second to Ford, and he really shook up the business. He drove prices up. He created a tiered system of actually helping to bring new girls in and manage a career as well as create the career. And he was unique in that way, and he caused a lot of problems in the moment that he came in. It was called the Model Wars at the time. He took top girls away from all the other agencies. He was cutting the 20% to keep girls. He would give them 10% or 5%. And, you know, I like maverick kind of people. I like people who are unique and, you know, they travel with it by their own drum. And so for me already, he was my kind of guy. You know, when I walked into his office, he was very accepting. Like when I walked into Willie, they said, "Oh, you have to lose 15 pounds." It was immediately all the negative stuff. And when I walked into John, he was like, we can make you a star, and we don't need to take your waitress tips to do that," which made my father happy. So basically, I said, I'm not comfortable signing a contract. I don't even know how to read a contract, much less, you know, to get myself locked into a contract. And he said, "My word is my bond, is your word your bond." I said, "Yes, I think so." I mean, I was 17. I think so. And he said, "That's good enough for me." And he was true to his word. And I basically stayed with John as long as he owned the agency. The history of this business is very, very important. I mean, and this is a business. And one of the things that really struck me is that the girls come in today and they don't see any chance of being stars anymore. The portal to become a star is so small. There's, you know, even Sports Illustrated put Beyonce on the cover. No diss to Beyonce, she's beautiful. But this was a way to make somebody. Beyonce was already made. Like, just my opinion, of course, but I mean, Sports Illustrated, what was so amazing about Sports Illustrated was like, they could take an unknown girl and make her a star overnight. They did it for me. They did it for many girls. So it was a little shocking to me that they went that same celebrity route. It was almost depressing because having come up as a model, I really want to see girls who are models have a chance to become something. I wrote my books to try and teach girls to have a business acumen, to have a business plan, and to look at the history. Yes, this business is a business that was built on the history. We are the accumulation of everything that has happened to this point. And the girls that come up today get the benefit of everything that every model who made a mark or who created an outlet or a different business along the way, she is getting the benefit of today. And I'm thankful that I've been part of such an amazing business that has offered me so many opportunities where I could have been so creative, where I could create posters and calendars and videos and, you know, ideas that, you know, that floated around my head had the ability to be realized because of the girls that came before me. And it'll keep moving forward. We are the history of everything we've ever done.